Wow. If this is not biblical history, I don't know what is. This place is truly, truly special. I am right now standing in the famous Valley of KIDRON. This is a valley that's been mentioned in the Bible many, many times. I am in front of Absalom's pillar, King David's rebellious son, who tried to kill his father to gain the throne. This is Absalom's pillar, who he wanted to have erected in his image, in his name. But this particular pillar dates back 1,000 years after Absalom. Maybe they just finished what he started. But this is Absalom's pillar. I am walking on holy ground. This is the famous KIDRON Valley. Jesus walked down these very steps. There was no steps at the time. It was probably dirt from the old city coming in from Gethsemane. Crossed the KIDRON Valley to go to the Garden of Gethsemane to pray on his last night. This is truly, truly holy ground. These are in the footsteps of Jesus. These are in the footsteps of one of the greatest kings of all time, King David. And I'm going to take you for a little tour. Wow. Amazing. Just amazing history. This is Absalom's pillar. This monument's been here since the late Second Temple period. Okay? However, there's no connection between the pillar cited in the Bible and this structure, which dates 1,000 years after Absalom's time. Okay? That was the time of the second period. But anyway, what a beautiful, 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 magnificent. And this is and I'm going to take you to somewhere special right now. The KIDRON Valley. But it's also known by another name, everybody. And I'm going to walk right down here and give you a little tour. And there's a lot of ancient tombs down here. You can see, notice these caves up here. These are burial caves. Okay, we're going to walk down here just a little bit. Oh, you're going to love this, everybody. Now you... Okay. Now you have to remember, this walkway that I'm walking down, back in antiquity, this was a dirt little path. That's all it was. This has only been built up in the last 10 or 15 years. But what's really magnificent about this is that the KIDRON Valley is also known as the Valley of the Shadow of Death. Unbelievable. This is the real Valley of the Shadow of Death. You can see some ancient tombs here. I am now walking in the Valley of the Shadow of Death. The famous psalm that we all sing or have heard about. This valley, the Valley of KIDRON, known as the Valley of the Shadow of Death. It is written in the Old Testament that God would assemble all the nations for their final judgment on this spot, in this location. The New Testament, here's what happened. This walkway, I'm going to show you a fascinating walkway. This walkway right up here, Jesus walked these very path, the same exact path when he finished the Last Supper with his disciples. He came here with Peter, James, and John on his way to the Gethsemane. The day before he would be crucified. Jesus walked down these very steps. These are in the footsteps of Jesus, this path. Now, it's not concrete back in the day because it's been built up. This valley right here, this valley you see right here is a lot lower. Back in antiquity days, back in the days of antiquity, it's very low. It's way, this has been built up. It goes down very low. So as you can see with these hills right here, the majority of the day you're in the shadows. And that's where we get it, the Valley of the Shadow of Death. It's fascinating. This is the same valley where King David walked through 3,000 years ago when his son Absalom was hunting him down for his thirst for hunger and power. King David walked by the same route coming out of Jerusalem when he was being hunted by his own son. And it's starting to rain a little bit, so I'm going to be quick. He brought with him ministers, his advisors, and they came down here, and some of them even probably hid up in these caves to avoid his son. And as King David, 3,000 years ago, before Christianity, before Islam, before a lot of major religions, spoke these famous words that will live in history, and we all know it. These famous words. King David walked right by here, and his exact words were, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your shaft comfort me. Need I say any more?" The famous words by King David, walking these exact same area, being hunted down by his own flesh and blood for his thirst for power. In Zechariah, I believe that's, and members of his family are buried up there. I believe there's ancient tombs up there. I am now walking in the Valley of the Shadow of Death, in the KIDRON Valley. And I'm going to walk up here to this little path. And that's part of East Jerusalem that you're seeing right there. And I'm going to say it again, and I'll say it 1,000 times. This is where those famous words that will forever be spoken till the end of time. As I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me, God. Your rod and your staff comfort me. Another biblical site, biblical giants. Walking in the footsteps of biblical giants is the greatest thrill of my life. And I will never forget it as long as I live. Now I'm going to come up on this little ridge. And it's starting to rain a little bit, so I'm going to sign off. This valley stretches many miles. This is the KIDRON Valley, the Valley of the Shadow of Death. This is the spot where Jesus walked down 2,000 years ago with his disciples on his way to the Gethsemane after the Last Supper to pray in the Garden of Gethsemane. This is holy ground. Everywhere you walk, pretty much, in this area is holy ground. There's the old city. There's the walls from the old city. This is beautiful. It's not just beautiful, it's historic. It's biblical ground. Walking in the footsteps of the biblical giants in the KIDRON Valley is so special. It's been my second time here. I just had to come back. It just drew me. I've walked in the valley of the shadow of death. And I'm not going nowhere. I'm still here. But I will be joining you all in a short time, my friends. But just not now. Not now. This has all been built up in this beautiful path going right up here, which was not steps or concrete. It was a path. Jesus walked these very steps. King David walked past here 1,000 years before Jesus to escape his son with his advisors and the people from Jerusalem fleeing Absalom, and he eventually perished in a war, and he reclaimed his throne, King David. Coming to you from the KIDRON Valley, in the valley of the shadow of death. God bless you, everyone. Walking in the footsteps of biblical history. Historic biblical history, the greatest thrill of my life. I love you all. And I love you till the end of time. And love will always conquer all. I love you guys.